The way the war just starts is kind of like My Hero Academia, where All for One just showed up, and then, everybody showed up. This worked better because Muzan came to kill the Master, but the Master was ready for him at a plan, and the other Hashira were already there, training. So I like the way this worked compared to the way My Hero Academia started their war. Although there is some problems, and I will point those out. Hey guys, welcome back to Everything Anime Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Shinry. Here at the Everything Anime Podcast, we talk about everything from anime, manga, video games, TV shows, and whatever relevant topic we're talking about. Today's video is on Demon Slayers chapters 137 or 136 to 143. This is the start of the Infinity Castle / Demon Slayer War arc. And there are some problems, but I'll get to them as we go through it, because I'm probably going to mention this a lot. However, let me just go ahead and say this now. There's a lot of relationships where if this was a longer anime, again, not 1,000 chapters like One Piece, maybe not even 700 like Naruto, because I don't think there would need to be that many. But if this was about, say, 400 chapters, I think that'd be good. We could have really fleshed out Shinobu's sister. We could have really fleshed out Zenitsu's brother, Zenitsu's relationship with his grandfather, because everything's going to wrap up pretty fast in these next couple chapters, and it's because Demon Slayer has so many time skips within a short period of time, and we sometimes just end up in the next place we need to go, or the next arc just starts, that you're missing some story beats that could have hit harder. But we'll get to them as we get to them. So let's go through these chapters together. So the ironicness of when this chapter opens, the Master says he can finally at last lay his eyes on Muzan, the enemy of all the Demon Slayers, for the first time. And it's ironic because he's blind, because his eyes are bandaged up, are covered. And then he later asked his wife, what's Muzan look like? So I just thought it was kind of funny, but also still very cool, because Muzan shows up acting all cool. He's like, I came to kill you. I came to kill you. Master, you're the one that's been hiding. You're the leader of the Demon Slayers. You're a member of my clan. Or no. The Master tells him that he's a member of Muzan's clan. And there's some little bit of banter, and then the Master slowly unveils his eyes and stuff like that. And he looks kind of like a demon from the manga panels, but apparently he's still human. But we learned that 6 months ago, a physician, ironically, just like Muzan, told him he would die. But he says, look at me, I'm 6 months later and I'm still alive. I'm dying, but I'm still alive. And so we kind of get some backstory on the Master's sickness. So we know from a previous arc that he descends from Muzan's family, or Muzan's family line, or his clan. But we learned that his sickness comes from Muzan turning himself into a demon. So because Muzan became a demon 1,000 years ago, his family was kind of cursed. All his descendants would die at a young age. I think it was 30 years old they're supposed to die. And they'll never grow past 30, or they're not supposed to go past 30. Because I think some kids have died early, he mentioned. But usually they die at 30. That's the thing. So all of Muzan's descendants, they all have been dying. And at some point, they still, they probably still had kids. But, because you can have kids by 18, sometimes 16. But we ain't getting into that. But basically, the Master is the last of Muzan's line currently. Well, he has kids actually, so no, he's not the last, because his kids take over. I'm getting that's what I'm getting it all kind of mixed up. That's why I prefer to go by my notes when I'm going, instead of going on top of the riff. But yeah, so aside from the Master's kids that currently are alive, he's we're all cursed because of you. But if we kill you, the curse will end, and we can all age and no longer be cursed by whatever caused the sickness or whatever. And so I thought that was pretty cool. Muzan's response is that ain't got shit to do with me though. He's I became a god. I basically am a god. I was supposed to die the day that I turned 20, and look at me now. I killed thousands of people, and I have never once faced any consequence for it. There's no Buddha, there's no whatever priest or nothing like that. That's his opinion. But I'm dude, you're a demon, so how can you not believe that something else benevolent exists outside of you? Plus you burn up in the sun. So yeah, you know that there's an enemy stronger than you out there, and not the sun, but you should know. Because someone else said something ironic to that too later. I think it was Doma, the upper rank too, but we'll get there. But I'm yeah, you guys should know God exists because demons exist. you shouldn't exist, but you exist. So yeah, thought that was weird. And he's like, I killed thousands of people without remorse and nothing ever happened to me. So the master challenges like, well, what is your dream? To which, of course, he replies, immortality, to be able to walk in the sunlight and walk in the day and walk at night without, anything interfering with me, anything killing me. Which is kind of different than invincibility, because it doesn't say if you still cut off Muzan's head, he'll die. Although they did try that. I'm skipping ahead, but they did try that. And it worked successfully, but he didn't die. But we also know that all upper ranks have like a unique way to take them down, aside from just cutting off their head. Except for number 5 and 4. Well, 4 had the gimmick of like making clones, but 5 specifically just died when he cut off his head. So the master goes on to say that he's not afraid to die because even if he dies, this demon slayer corpse will live on, and they'll finish the job. Like, as long as Muzan dies, that's all his clan cares about. That's all he cares about. And we also learned though that if Muzan dies, all demons sired to him will die. So it gave me like Vampire Diaries, like when the original storyline happened, like when you killed one of the originals, all vampires under that line died.
I miss well-adjusted Stefan.
Ding dong. I'm not here for you. I'm here for him.
I don't think so. I had to kill him, Sage.
Oh, you remember me. Good. Then you know I like to go all 10 rounds.
Sage?
Troy, help me! What is happening to me?
She just died. So Sage and this Troy guy die within an hour of Finn.
But why? Were they bitten by a hybrid or?
Hybrid bites don't look like that. Maybe Sage was so in love with Finn, she just died of sadness.
No, that doesn't explain Troy.
It's the bloodline. It has to be. Think about it. Finn turned Sage, Sage turned Troy. They're all part of the same vampire bloodline that originated with Finn.
Wait, so when an original dies, every vampire turned from their bloodline dies along with them? Because that would mean if the originals die, so do all of you. The entire vampire species would just be dead.
So I'm curious if Nezuko would die, because Nezuko is a demon, period. I don't think it matters, because all demons were created from Muzan. Even if other demons created demons, Muzan specifically created all demons. So yeah, if Muzan dies, all demons die. But I'm hoping Nezuko will be like a way to pass it. Maybe she will die. I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't know if that happens, but or she'll probably turn human before she dies. The Demon Slayers and Hashira do find out about Muzan's sudden appearance, which was really cool, and they all race to try to save the Master, but of course it's too late. Surprisingly, though, the Master don't let Muzan get his way. The Master don't let Muzan just kill him. He blows himself up along with his wife and 2 kids. Now, we learned that Master had like a son and like other kids as well, but I think the core first family, they all died, because it didn't say like his daughter survived. If it did, I got confused, but I know his wife and him died for sure. But he blows himself up in like this amazing explosion. And even though Muzan is caught in the blast, because it's like point blank, Muzan slowly regenerates. But we learned something else very soon about that. But I thought the scene was fucking epic. And I'll make sure I show that panel with like the mansion exploding and all that. And but yeah, Muzan doesn't die, even though like his whole body got obliterated, because it's still, you have to be cut with a Nichiren blade or be burned by the sun. If you can decapitate a demon with a knife and a blade, but it won't kill them. They'll just be in pain and agony. Now the Master did have a backup plan though. Like, he didn't just kill himself just so Muzan wouldn't get to him. He mixed in something, I think it was like poison needles, kind of like what Tengen did to Gyotaro and Daki, slowing down their regeneration. He did that to Muzan, where like Muzan slowly regenerates. And it was hoping to buy enough time for like the Hashira to converge on him and kill him. Specifically the Stone Hashira, because the master had made a plan with the Stone Hashira. He was like, look, the other Hashira aren't going to agree with this plan, but I'm going to act as bait. I'm already dying anyway. I'm going to lure Muzan here because Muzan's after me. He can see the future or something like that. We learned it's like observation Hage. He can see a little bit into the future. He knew Muzan was coming. And he also knew the other Hashira wouldn't agree to it, except the Stone Hashira. So he's like, look, in that state, he's going to be slow to regenerate. Cut off his head. He might not die, which they already expected to happen, which is why they brought in Lady Tamo, the Doctor Demon. But we'll get to that too. But, hold on, let me check my notes. Yeah, but before the Hashira ever make it to him, Lady Tama shows up first, and using some kind of blood art of thorns, she impales him in place, and she tells us like it's some kind of like it has some kind of properties that's going to turn Muzan human or make him more human-like. And I was like, oh shit, so this is how I can take down Muzan. Like, she's gonna turn him human. Obviously not, it's not gonna be that simple, but like that's her plan. Lady Tama was gonna turn him human with that. But also be able to hold him down with the thorns and like him slow to regenerate. We get before Stone Hashira, this is why I'm jumping all over the place. But before the Stone Hashira shows up, while Lady Tama hasn't panned, we get some backstory on her. So after Muzan turned her into a demon, which she wanted because she was gonna die. Like, apparently everybody in Demon Slayer was gonna die at some point at an early age. They were all gonna die, but she was gonna die, and he turned into a demon. But the moment she turned into a demon, she killed her husband and child. Like, it was just instinct. She didn't want to do it, but like that demonic instinct took over, and that's what she did. And she told him, like, you know, at the time I was dying of an illness and you promised to heal me. If I had known I would kill my husband and child, I would have never done that. So I love that, because that sticks to Lady Tamayo's, like, you know, character and the way we know about her. And she also says, like, you know, killing you and taking you down with me will atone for all my sins and killing my family, which, you know, go for it, girl, go for it. And that's what she calls in the Stone Hashira. She's like, hey, do it now. Take him out while you still have the chance. And that's when the Stone Hashira comes in to save her. And he does decapitate Muzan successfully with, like, kind of like this, like, ball and chain. I forget what weapon that's called in Japanese, but it's a really cool weapon. And it does decapitate his head. But because I already knew that the war arc is over 50 chapters, that's kind of why we're breaking it down as I go from like what I think is like important or really cool. It decapitates Muzan's head, but Muzan obviously regenerates. And even though he's slow to regenerate, he regenerates. So I was like, damn, if I didn't know this was 50 chapters more, I would actually believe Muzan would die. But again, you know, Tanjiro has to face him, so, you know, not really. But in storytelling, you would. Or if you were in that universe, you'd believe that. We learned through, yeah, we already talked about that. Oh, also, I thought the Stone Hashira was older than he looks, because they call him like an old man and things like that, but like he's only 36. Because we learned like the Stone Hashira is only 4 years older than the Master, and the Master is like 32 or something like that. Or he dies at 32. So I don't know why they kept calling him an old man, unless like being 36 is old, or like they just never seen somebody that old in Demon Slayer. Well, they have to see Grandpa, so I don't know. But they called him an old man when they saw him, and the way he designed, I thought he might look like an old man too. But like he's just 36, so not sure why they kept calling him old. But as we suspected, we learned from Tanjiro, like, upper ranks don't die that easy. So of course Muzan came back, which I already mentioned before. So their next desperate plan is to like stall Muzan until the sun comes out. They're like, look, if decapitating Muzan won't work, we have to hold him here until the sun rises. And thankfully the other Hashira show up to, like, you know, help the Stone Hashira and help Tamayo, because they're like, oh, look, together we can, like, you know, stall him. But like, I was thinking, like, well, there's still upper rank 2, upper rank 3, upper rank 1 out there. So it's like, this can't be where the battle just ends. You can't just stall Muzan here. But again, storytelling, I loved it. I love how, like, every Hashira shows up, including Tanjiro. And it's probably going to look really dope in the anime when it comes out in, like, 2 years, because I know the Hashira training arc's coming out in the anime. But all the Hashira command their abilities at once, and that's, I mean, like, that scene is going to probably look really cool. And it gives me the war arc I just wrote. Like, if you don't know, I just wrote Shobu vs. Shinry 3, Arado the Legendary Kajui Master, and that war arc was crazy. That war arc is 60 pages long, and I was surprised even how long that went. And everything progressed slowly and got more intense, and that conclusion was great to me. So I was like, I already knew this was going to ramp up really good. Now, before all their attacks can land, he, however, teleports them to the Infinity Castle. This is what we got teased in the Hashira Training Arc movie, but it doesn't happen in the Hashira Training Arc. This happens here, and this is for the first time they all end up in the Infinity Castle all at once. So I'm guessing this is where the final battle actually takes place, is inside the Infinity Castle, which is cool, and it makes more sense narratively because we've been teased about this, but we never actually went here with the main characters. We just seen it with the demons. And so the moment they get in there, everybody gets separated, like almost immediately. And Muzan disappears with Tamio still like holding on to him with her like poison thorns while he's slowly regenerating. He's slowly trying to like reverse the potion inside of her. The potion inside of him that's making him human, he's trying to reverse that with his demon blood art. And so all the Hashira are like, look, we got to kill him now. But the dangerous thing about being in the Infinity Castle is demons are spawning back to back to back. And I thought this was really cool. Now, once again, I'm getting that Iguro is in love with Kanjiro because he's like says he's gonna protect her, and like at one point like Kanjiro forms hearts over her head. So I feel like that's the man she's gonna fall in love with, or that's the man she's gonna marry, which is cute. But you know, I don't know anything about the series and how it ends, but that's what I'm getting. The Stone Hashira immediately realizes like demons are trying. The reason why all these demons are spawning is because they want to weaken them and get them down like exhausted, so like the upper ranks can finish them off. Which I again was thinking that there's only 3 upper ranks, but we learned that Muzan created like some pseudo 3 new upper ranks to get back to 6. I'll get to that when we get there. But there once again are 6 upper rank Kizuki. Probably not as strong as the original 6, but there's some new upper ranks. And he was hoping like this would like slowing the demon slayers down and the Hashiras down would like help the upper ranks kill them faster. But because all the Hashiras saw the master as their father and learning that the master died, they're even more than ever motivated to kill Muzan, because they're like, we saw him as a father figure. When we were all sick, the master would be there for us and watch over us. I'm guessing not for lower rank demon slayers, but specifically for Hashira, because I was like, he wasn't there for Tanjiro or Inosuke or Zenitsu when they were sick, but he might have been there for the Hashiras, which is still very cool. And plus he was sick by the time Tanjiro got there anyway. But I also love that Inosuke just sees this as a training ground. Like all these demons showing up, he's like, oh, this is my chance to get stronger. Of course Inosuke would think like that. Totally fits his character, and it made me laugh. Even Zenitsu was here and he's awake. He's not afraid. He's not like passed out and being his cool self. Zenitsu was here and he's calm. He's not even afraid. He's even ready to face Muzan himself. And I really want to know at this time what triggered that change. I do know because I read ahead from here. I'm actually up to chapter 146, but we're stopping at 144 or 143. So we'll get to that later. But I did learn what triggered Zenitsu's change, and I loved it, and it makes sense. Though I wish we had seen it happen more naturally. This is what I was talking about, like where like I wish we had traveled with Zenitsu and maybe just like an arc with Zenitsu and Tanjiro and Nezuko and like met his brother, and then done an arc with like Inosuke and Tanjiro and Nezuko and done Inosuke's thing, because I feel like we could have got more from that, but we'll get there when we get there. Now I was correct in confirming that Shinobu's sister was killed by the second upper rank Doma, because I was like, it couldn't be Muzan, that'd be too obvious, and it couldn't be upper rank 1, I just didn't see it, and upper rank 3 had no relationship to her. So I was like, upper rank 2 is the only one we didn't really know. And this is another thing where I wish it got fleshed out more. We knew that Shinobu's sister died. She told us that like way early on when Shinobu had met up with Tanjiro and talked about Nezuko and how her sister wanted to be friends with demons. And I was also right that Doma, the second upper rank, was a cult leader. I was correct on that. So that was 2 guesses, because I had never read up to this part, that I was correct about. And I love that. And we are going to get some more backstory on that. But like Shinobu's sister, we get like a 2-panel flashback of like what she looked like and things like that. And she confirms that Doma's the one that killed her. She had, I think it was called flower breathing. I don't know what that is, but that sounded really cool and cute. We learned that upper rank 2 favors fans as his weapon. And at some point it's confirmed that he was the leader of the Eternal Paradise Faith. So we get some backstory on Doma a little bit. He basically Well, before that, we learned he basically like tricks people into like telling them like, you know, if you're scared of death, if you're afraid of dying, if you're afraid of pain, if you're afraid of suffering, I can take that away from you, and I can lead you to paradise. Basically, eating you and making you a part of my body. That way, you'll never be afraid again. So basically, if you're dead, you don't have to worry about these humanly things and humanly pain and humanly sadness and humanly, you know, what most people do when they commit suicide. Now, the people that come to his cult, they're not looking for suicide. They're looking for somebody like to take away their pain and lead them to paradise. But that's how cult leaders draw you in, and that's why, you know, how he's able to rise up to upper rank 2 so fast, because he was eating people that tricked in his cult. But we learned something about that from him being human, because always demons, like, their thing represents like their human side too, or something that they went through as a human. But basically, Shinobu calls him out on his bullshit, which I love. She's like, you're trying to use reverse psychology, like, because he asked her, like, oh, what kind of sadness are you going through? Because you're obviously angry at me. And he's like, who hurt you? You know, when people say that to you, who hurt you? And he's like, I'll listen to you and I'll take it away. Literally, just like a cult leader. That's what cult leaders do. They'll pretend like they care about your feeling, but he's doing that because that's how he tricks people into, like, being eaten by him. He's like, oh, you know, come here, I'll take away your pain, I'll take away your sadness. And this angers Shinobu with a face we've never seen before, and I thought it was a really epic panel, so I'm gonna make sure we show that. And I forgot to mention, I was wondering if, like, Shinobu's sister and all these other characters are gonna be DLC in the what's that game called, the Hinokami Chronicles. I wonder if that's like, if we're only gonna have one Demon Slayer game and like all the DLC will come out later, that'd be pretty cool. He goes on to brag about wishing he had ate Shinobu's sister, because he never got to, because the sun had came up just when he was about to eat her, and obviously, you know, that's how Shinobu knows that, like, he's the one that killed her sister and things like that, because, like, she was still around. If Shinobu's sister had been eaten, she would have known that. And which pisses Shinobu off, and she goes for the insta kill, which I knew would happen. Also, you have to remember, Shinobu is the only Demon Slayer who told us in the Spider Family arc that she's only Demon Slayer and Hashira that can't cut off a demon's head with her blade, because her arms are too short and, like, her blade isn't strong enough to do that, so she relies on poison. And this is our first time ever. This is our first time seeing if poison works in the upper rank, because the sister demon wasn't an upper rank when she used the poison. However, since all Muzan's demons share Muzan's blood, they also share, like, information through that blood. So when she used poison on the sister, Doma was already aware that she could use poison, and he found a way to, like, nullify it. It gave me, like, the guy from Bleach, you know, the scientist guy and his Bankai, how, like, it, like, gathers information used against it to, like, create, like, counters and poisons and things like that. Like, I'm gonna see if I can find a clip that he explains it better, but
purple smog seeps along the floor, though it's unclear if this is the same toxin the original Bankai produced, or if this time it's just for theatrics. With a grin, Mayuri comments that this is an altered Bankai, and is a variant of Konjiki Ashisogi Jizo. He claims this new form was created, however, by modifying the old Bankai, so it seems unlikely to me that the old Bankai could ever actually return. That being said, if Mayuri simply called out the original Bankai's name, I wonder what would happen. If this truly is only a variant of that original form, then presumably they're able to exist side by side somehow. Regardless, considering Matai Fukuin Shotai's ability, honestly I can't see why he'd ever really want to bring his original Bankai back. Like many of the best Bankai, Matai Fukuin Shotai possesses only one ability, but it's so all-encompassing and incredibly powerful that it makes this altered Bankai impossibly dangerous. The Matai Fukuin Shotai is capable of birthing a brand new Ashisogi Jizo from its hideous form that corresponds to the data collected by Mayuri throughout the fight so far. Thanks to this data, the newly born Ashisogi Jizo, which resembles a naked, more humanoid version of the golden baby from before, will be poised to counter whatever the enemy's abilities are.
Every time she sheaths her Zord, it also changes the composition of the poison she uses, so that's where it really reminded me of that. So, like, she can create different poisons by sheathing her blade, but it doesn't matter because he was already aware that she uses poison from, like, the baby sister demon's sister dying from it. And this is where we get backstory from Upper Rank 2, Doma. And even though despite Tanjiro didn't touch him, because, you know, that's usually what happens, like, the demon's about to die, we get their backstory, but he ain't dying yet. We learned that as a child, people used to come to him for help. Like, his parents thought, like, he was, like, the Messiah, because he had, like, rainbow-colored eyes as a child, and his hair was gray, which represents innocence. So people would come to him as a child, and they'd be like, oh, they'll tell him his problems and ask him to take away their pain and things like that. Kind of like a god or like a Messiah or like he was Jesus or something. That's what they thought. His parents thought, and that's why they created a cult. They created a cult called Paradise Faith Religion, so his is kind of like ironic to his parents. But even as a child, Doma knew, like, this was all bullshit. He knew he was just a regular kid, but because his parents, like, you know, wanted this for him, he went along with it. That goes out to parents that try to get their kids to do things. Yeah, that goes out to you, parents that make kids do things that they don't want to do. Or you have expectations for your child instead of letting them grow up and be themselves. That really goes back to that. And so he didn't really care about it, but, like, people would come to him like a cult, and they'd be like bowing to him and telling him like he's a prophet, and they'd be asking him to lead them to paradise. And as a child, he knew he couldn't do that, so he would cry because he felt bad for those people. He was like, I can't believe people are so gullible to think like I can take away their pain. He didn't believe in God as a child. But here's the irony. He became a demon, and now he believes he can take people to paradise. So if you didn't believe in God as a child because people came to you and thought you could take away their pain, but you became a demon and you can take away their pain, why don't you believe there's something opposite of you? That's what I mean. Like, I don't get why you wouldn't believe in God or heaven, but you believe in hell because you're a demon. So I didn't get that, but I mean, that's just the irony of like being a villain and stuff like that. So he became a demon to help people reach paradise, help them reach paradise. And because he was a non-believer in God and heaven or hell, like I said, that's what the irony is. Like, you think you're taking people to paradise by eating them and consuming them. As he was going through his backstory, though, Shinobu had already poisoned him, and like 5 times with her blade. Like, she had sheathed her blade and stabbed him several times, but every time she poisoned him, he was getting like more and more used to it. He nullified it every time, so she was like, okay, this isn't working. So despite her best efforts, the demon taunts her and gets in her head. He's like, you're not able to cut off my head. And, you know, it's because you have short arms and you're not that strong. And he's like, you know, I just want to hear all about all your problems. Like, tell me about why you're so weak. And tell me that, like, you know, tell me what makes you sad. And she begins to doubt herself. But per the usual theme, the spirit of her sister shows up, and she's like, hey, look, I believe in you. And, you know, you can do this. Even if you can't cut off his head, you still can find a way to defeat him. And I thought because of this pep talk, she was going to take out Upper Rank 2 like that. But it don't even happen like that. And even though she even forms, there's like this cool scene where like she's moving swiftly and fast that surprises him. And before pinning him to the wall, she believes she can poison him by directly stabbing him in the neck. She's like, if I can poison him at his weakest point, maybe that'll kill him. I don't know if she's stabbing him for 5 times, if she ain't shot a neck before that, but she's like, if I can poison him in the neck, I can kill him. And despite it doesn't seem to work, it just makes her angrier, because like he's just like, oh, you tried, that's really cute. It's cute that you're trying this hard. And that would piss anybody off, so she just gets angrier. And, you know, it's because everybody in her life has been killed by demons. Again, that theme in Demon Slayer, like, everybody's just been affected by demons. Like, her sister died, or I think multiple sisters died. The sister she has lost friends and family too. So she's like, you know, everybody I know has been killed by demons. And she starts forming a mark. So you would think, like, just like with Shinobu, I mean, not Shinobu, just like with Tanjiro and Mitsuri and Muchiro, like, she would defeat this Upper Rank 2 demon by, like, all this rage. But he still kills her, and that really shocked me. Now, before she's killed, though, her sister shows up, Kano, and she's there to witness this. And I was like, oh, shit. So Kano's going to be the one to finish her. Because, I mean, I guess that makes sense, because Kano's kind of been hyped up in the background, like Tanjiro teaching her to speak up for herself and defend herself. And before Shinobu can kill him, like, he kills her first. And I was just like, damn. Like, Shinobu, your whole motivation was killing this Upper Rank 2 that killed your sister. You got a pep talk from your sister. You got, you know, a mark, a demonic mark, and you still died. You still lost. But I guess, again, that's for Kano, because Kano's not going to be motivated to kill this upper rank 2 demon. I do like that the upper rank 2 demon we got his backstory. I'm glad I was right about my theory that he was a cult leader. I'm glad I was right about my theory that, like, Shinobu's sister was killed by him, because I kind of figured that who it would be based off the relationships. But, again, because I read further, I can't make any speculations from here. So we're going to go ahead and end the video here. Plus, it's already a bit too long. It's 25 minutes. But really great chapter. Really love that. And I just got to say, like, again, I wish this relationship was fleshed out. I wish we had seen more of Shinobu's sister. I wish we had got to see what flower breathing looks like. Hopefully that's DLC in the game, because that'd be really cool. It sounds cool. But yeah, great chapter. Great couple chapters. We'll move on to the next video now, because I'm already read it. And go ahead and knock that out too. So let's go ahead and get into it. Hey guys, this video was sponsored by me, the author of the Shinry series, the Chronicles of Wayne, and Monsterverse. So I figured I'd do this outro a little bit different by showing you guys what you guys will be checking out. So, the Shinry series starts with Book 1, Shobu Samurai Project Aryoku. 10 years after the death of his parents, Shobu Samurai returns home seeking vengeance, but instead faces the choice to save his home from shadow creatures, blood beasts, and an organization once thought dead. Shinry's Shobu Samurai starts at $9.99. And if you love anime, manga, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, Yu Yu Hakusho, Fairy Tail, Shaman King, Rave Master, Zatch Bell, anything like that, the Shinry series is definitely the series for you. You'll definitely want to check it out. The Sword of Light is probably the thickest one so far. And then these books are 2. This is Enter the Dread Zone Tournament. And the series original ending, Arado, the Legendary Konjuis Master. So, and I'll just show you guys some of the covers. Really proud of all of these. But I hope you guys check it out. If you don't like that, I also have the current published books for the Chronicles of Wayne. Love Be Damned, Cotton Candy, Full Moons, Fabled Lovers, A Cursed Virgin's Bite. If You Go Where Monsters Dance, Red will Rain Over Your House. Love Be Damned. Now, the Chronicles of Wayne is about a geeky guy, or a nerdy guy in high school. His senior year, he has a crush on the hottest guy in school, because of course he does. He's only got one best friend, and her name is Barb. Well, the hottest guy in school turns out to be a werewolf. And to make the story more interesting, he bites Wayne and turns Wayne into the first ever wolfman in the last 10 years. And because of that, it was also a sacred law that wolfmen should never be created. I don't want to get into too much of the Chronicles of Wayne without spoiling it, but I can tell you it's very short. This one sells for $6.99, and Love Be Caged right after it. The ending of this trilogy, Love Be Liberated, comes out in October. So I'm going to definitely do a more full in-depth review of this one. But yeah, it's an LGBT fantasy fiction story about werewolves, vampires, white witches, a dark warlock, and, well, many, many more surprises to come. So if you guys like to read, I definitely recommend. These are all the books so far in the Shinry series, except for Shinry's Beginning. I do have that one, but it's just not here with me. But yeah, I appreciate a like, support, or just a review on Amazon. Either way, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.